Hey folks, Mark and Don here again. We're still on Berserks. Specifically this time, we're doing Threatening Plastic Berserks. Now, Threatening Plastic Berserk is a real ugly situation from a legal angle. Now, turn to face me. A Threatening Plastic Berserk is going to do this, and I need you not to react. Right. A Threatening Plastic Berserk has every indication of a berserk. But what they're going to do is go, right? They pretend they're berserks as they're charging you. But they stop right here. And with that stop, if they can get away with that stop, then they can claim, well, I wasn't going to attack him. So when you react to that person in your face, right, and he is doing this, do not make any mistake. This is deliberate attempts to intimidate you. He is making a sincere effort to mimic a berserk attack and create within you the reasonable belief that you are being attacked. Okay? I'm just not going to follow through with it. Okay? But by mimicking a berserk, he's going to make you, clutch your pearls or freeze or freak out. And if you hit him, okay, I'm here, bam, officer, he hit me, arrest him. Because that's what threatening berserks do. Okay? They want the intimidation factor, but if you hit them, they're going to become little Bo Peep. Now, something else I want to warn you about is that they will often come up, go here, and it's like, well, if you're not cowed by their, by their presentation, so to speak, their fake plastic berserk, they will strike you. They can build themselves up, or they'll be doing this, right? Which is like, what, you're not intimidated? Here, let me make you intimidated. Because I'm Captain Kirk, acting like I'm fighting a Norn. By the way, where that came from, I watched a thing of William Shatner responding to people imitating William Shatner. And I was like, I don't talk like that. I don't see what's funny. It's like, you're doing it. I don't talk like that. Right. But so the idea of them getting up, they could be working their way up to attack you if you do not give them the proper, oh, I'm so afraid of you. But if you do not react in time, if you do not react immediately to the berserk, then what you've just done is given the prosecutor, it's like, why didn't you attack? If you thought you were under threat, why didn't you, react earlier? Okay, so the thing about these guys with a threatening plastic berserk, if somebody does manage to get this close, right, and he's berserk, no. Don't stand here. Don't do what Don just did. What you do is you step over there. And now that you've bought distance, okay, what is it? Okay. Now, what I'm going to, me being an idiot, and most people who are threatening plastic berserks are idiots because they want the impression, right? Now, after you moved away, if I close in, that's when you ask. Because you can articulate that, yes, I moved away because he was in attack range, he was threatening me, etc., and I moved away and he closed the distance again. That you can articulate as to why you did it. But the thing is, a lot of threatening plastic berserks have gotten used to getting away with this. So they will come screaming up, bug-eyed, and, trying to create the reasonable belief that you are about to be attacked so they can bully you to get what they want. Now, the other thing is, now that you know about this, you can treat plastic berserks like actual berserks. Okay? Which is, as he's coming in, you don't care that he's plastic or real. Okay? So as I'm going, boom, right? Now, when I turn right there, wham, I'm done. Okay? But what I want you to understand about all types of berserks is that is their one and done. That is 99 times out of 100, they've shot their wad with the berserk charge, right? They are really bad at defending themselves when you counter it. And number two, they're really not that good at recognizing that it's too late. So if you can communicate to a berserk, whether real or imagined out here, and that's, by the way, a litmus test, that you're capable of handling them. If they break off, you got a plastic. If they keep on coming, well, you're going to have to do it. But again, there'll still be stupid people who will think that, well, I'm doing this, I'm going to scare him so bad, and they're totally caught off guard when you retaliate, right? So the surprise aspect of this is it stumps them. Now, it doesn't have to be violence of action, although it can be, but what it does require is structure, mobility, and timing. Okay, so how you handle a berserk, and I mean, basically, if you do sufficient force to stop the berserk charge, if the guy's plastic, he's probably not going to get up. Okay, or he's going to lay there and think about what he did. If he is a berserk and he gets broken, well, that's what it takes to stop a berserk. So, I have very little sympathy for people who try and use berserk tactics to intimidate, because, like, I wasn't really going to be a berserk on you. I just was acting like it was. And it's like, poor career move. So that's some stuff about handling the berserks and knowing what you're handling, or knowing what you're dealing with, and articulating why it was necessary to, like, introduce the guy's face into the brick, the concrete wall. He was coming at me in a berserk. He was, and I could not risk, take the chance that he was, not meaning to attack me, because I didn't have time, right? So that's, again, one of the things why, you should wait for just before the last second, before you do something very effective to handle the berserk, okay? You don't want to give him time to, like, change. If I'm charging and he moves too early, I just change my direction. Now, that tells him that this is not a, that gives him the ability to say, hey, reasonable belief. Well, how did you know he was going to attack you? Well, he was charging, I moved offline, and he reoriented on me. That is grounds for reasonable belief. So, yes, they are a pain in the ass, but once you know how to handle them, they're not as dangerous as they were once upon a time. You got anything you want to add?
maybe a bit from Japanese martial arts history. You're talking about stupid people not knowing to stop. I remember there's a trope in Japanese martial arts movies or tales, etc., of two swordsmen say on a bridge, and one's like, "You move aside," no, you move aside. They lock eyes for a second, and one of the guys just steps aside.
Mm-hmm.
And as I was told by one of my seniors in Japan, he said, "Well, the guy that stepped aside really had smarts. He's not as good as the guy that was there, but the guy that doesn't step aside doesn't realize that he's treated a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones that end up in fights and end up dead. It takes a certain amount of ability to see, I don't want to go there."
Yeah.
And so it's not so much the good guys that you have to worry about, because they'll see, okay, this is not an easy win.
Yeah.
It's the complete idiots that are,
Right.
maybe liquid courage too.
Yes.
Just realize this is a bad idea, and you can put everything out there. This is a bad idea. You don't want to do this,
And they'll still go.
Yeah.
Yes. And that is the one thing you will find a lot of times people who use the Berserk Blitz type strategy are exactly what Don was talking about. Okay. Maybe you can talk them out, but just as often you're going to have to drop them. Right. And when you drop them, you have to do it effectively. It's not being mean, sadistic, or nasty. What it is doing something that will handle the physics that they are presenting to you. And that just means usually they get hurt.
Straight to foreplay. Straight past foreplay.
Yeah, foreplay, what's that?
Yeah.
Lorena, do you know what foreplay is? No. Good, neither does El Guapo. See, as many movie references as we can, always in. So, that's it for the Berserks. Thank you very much for joining us.